Hi everybody, it's Cheryl here from Love and Light Yoga, and today I have a little yoga practice for you that we can do when we are feeling maybe not so great. So if we are quite tight, maybe we have sore muscles, maybe we're not feeling 100%, or maybe we have had maybe too much working out and our muscles are a little bit tired and a little bit sore, this is the practice for you. So we are going to keep it very slow, very mindful, and really making a bit of a mind-muscle connection as we are stretching. So you won't need anything at all for this, just yourself and your mat. And when you are ready, let's begin. Okay, so we are going to get started today seated on our mats. I'm going to take cross-legged. If sitting cross-legged is a little bit too much for your hips already, maybe prop yourself up on a blanket or a block or a pillow or something just to elevate your hips a little bit. But we're just going to start to bring some nice soft movement through the body. So let's bring our hands onto our knees, and we're just going to very slowly start to take our upper body into big circles. So it's almost like we are moving around with the rib cage here. We're going to try to keep our hips settled into the mat. As we exhale, we're going to come around behind, straightening out the arms, arching the upper back. And then as we breathe in, we're going to come forward with the chest. Feel that little hollow in the low back. And really starting to connect into our spine. Notice how this is feeling. Keep the movements nice and slow, but nice and fluid. Just slowly allowing everything to waken up and start to stretch. Can we do the same thing, just taking it the opposite direction? So again, inhaling, we're coming forward with the chest. As we exhale, we come behind, we straighten the arms, arch the back. Again, we inhale to come forward, we exhale, come behind. And with this one, don't really worry how this looks, just worry more about how this feels. So with all of these exercises that we're going to do today, the key here is just to feel good as we're doing them. So we're not worrying too much about the shape or what it looks like. Nice, so we'll take one more big breath in, and then coming back to center. And if the legs are crossed and they're starting to get a little bit achy, you can go ahead and switch position of the legs, just uncrossing them and crossing them again. And we're going to bring a little stretch through our upper and side body. So let's take a big breath in, reach our hands up nice and high. And we're going to reach with the fingertips until we start to feel the sides of the waist stretching, the arms stretching. Take a big breath in. And then can we drop the right arm down and reach up and across with the left. Then we're going to take a big inhale, come on back up, and then we're going to drop the opposite hand. We're going to reach up and across with the right, and then inhale to come on back up. And then we're going to turn that into a nice big flowing movement. So we inhale to reach up, and we exhale to come into our side bend. Inhale, we reach up, and exhale, send it into that side bend. So again, we're going to keep this movement nice and slow if we need to, and nice and mindful. So really thinking here about what muscles we are stretching, maybe beginning to notice where this is feeling good for us, maybe places that it's not feeling so good. But we want to keep the hips grounded. We want to keep the top arm reaching up and away as far as it can go. And we want to feel a big stretch coming all in through the side of the waist, the rib cage, the armpit. Nice, and just working with the breath. Trying to keep our chest nice and open. Nice. Nice. And then the next time that we have the right arm down and we're reaching up and across with the left, we're going to see how it would feel to stop and to hold. So again, we are keeping the hips grounded, we're keeping that top arm reaching up and away, and then only if it feels good, we're going to find a little bit of movement here. As we exhale, we're going to turn our chest down towards the floor. As we inhale, we're going to spiral the chest up towards the sky, maybe even taking the gaze up. So as we exhale, we're spinning our chest down towards the floor. We inhale, open back up towards the sky. One more time. Exhale, you twist to come down. Inhale, let's come on back up. Let's take another inhale. Both hands come back to center. This time we drop the left hand. We reach up and across with the right. And just see how it would feel to stop here. So again, we are reaching with that top arm, and only if it feels good for you, we find that movement on this side. So as we exhale, we're going to twist the chest, we're going to look down, arm comes forward. As we inhale, open the arm up, spiral that chest up to the sky, maybe look up. Exhale, chest twists down and forwards, and inhale, we open back up. One more time, big exhale, send the chest down. Inhale, reach it back up. And then inhale to come on up through center. And then let's exhale to take the hands down. And we're just going to bring the hands behind our back. So when the hands come behind the back, we're going to see if we can take a little clasp of the hands. So if the muscles in the arms or the chest or the shoulders are quite tight or sore, we might be here working towards getting that sort of clasp of the hands. So if this is where we're working, this is where we're working, we're rolling the shoulders back. If we have already got the clasp of the hands, we're going to start to send the hands down towards the floor, maybe straightening through the elbows, and then maybe even lifting the arms out and away from the body. But just breathing here. If we are here and this is feeling pretty good, maybe even you want to release the clasp of the hands, you can take hold of opposite elbows here. So it doesn't matter which variation of this we are in, whichever one that we are in, we are rolling the shoulders open, we are nice and open through the chest, we're feeling that deep stretch in through the fronts of the shoulders, in through the upper back. Let's take a big deep inhale, full exhale, and then release the arms. And from here, we're going to bring the arms out in front, we're going to send the legs behind, and we're all going to meet in our tabletop position. So we are on our hands and our knees, we're in our tabletop, we have our wrists under shoulders, our knees under hips, and then from here we're just going to start to make some hip circles. So we're just going to circle the hips around one way, and these can be big circles, they can be small circles, it doesn't really matter. And just like I said before, we don't really want to mind too much about what this looks like, we want to focus more on how this feels. So if it even helps, you can close your eyes here and just send your awareness down into your spine, into your hips, into your lower back. Notice how this is feeling. Notice if you need to make the movement a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, a little bit slower or faster, whatever you got to do. And then can we do the same thing, just opposite direction? So we're just circling the hips round the other way. Okay, and then coming back to center when you're ready, back to center, back to stillness. And then from here we're going to move into a puppy pose or a variation of our puppy pose. So if we take our gaze down to where the palms of our hands are, that is where we're going to want our elbows to be. So let's drop down to one elbow, forearm comes along the floor, drop down to the other elbow, and we're going to try and keep the hips high here, and we're also going to try and keep the hips over our knee. So maybe for you, this is where you're going to stay, especially if you are a little bit sore in through your back muscles. If you're working here, we're going to stay here and you're going to drop your head down. Just feel that release through the neck and through the upper back. Take a few breaths here. And then it's up to you whether this is where you want to stay or if you want to move a little bit further into your puppy pose. You're going to keep the hips exactly where they are, keep the knees where they are, and just slowly start to crawl the fingertips forward towards the front of your mat. It's almost like we are easing down with the chest here towards the mat. You can bring your forehead onto the mat, or maybe even send your gaze forwards towards your fingertips. But wherever you are, your hips are high, you're relaxed in your upper body, you're melting your chest down towards the mat. Let's take a big breath in here. Take a full breath out. And then nice and slowly, we can start to come back with the hands, just slowly crawling the hands back in and all the way back up to our tabletop. So back onto our hands and our knees. From here, we're going to find a thread the needle. So knees are going to stay where they are. We're going to take an inhale, reach up nice and high with the left hand. As we exhale, we're going to send that left hand down and underneath the right. We're going to slide it along the floor here, front of the hand, the front of the arm, and then start to lower the upper body down. So maybe your ear comes onto the mat. Again, keeping the hips nice and high and just breathing here. Thinking about releasing through your shoulder, releasing through your back. Keeping our hips high and keeping our hips squared off here. 1 or 2 nice deep breaths here. And then maybe if it feels good, for your last breath or two, you can reach that right hand up. Maybe place it onto the lower back, or maybe even take it on across to hold on to the opposite thigh. Let's be here for 1 more big breath in. Full breath out. And then let's bring the right hand back onto the mat. We're going to press into the right hand. Slowly bring the left arm back. And we all meet back in our tabletop. Great, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, we're keeping our hips and our knees where they are. We're going to take a big inhale, reach up nice and high, this time with the right hand. As we exhale, let's bring the hand down. Let's slide it in underneath the left arm. Forearm slides along the floor. We might bring our right shoulder to the floor. We might bring our right ear down to the floor. And we breathe here. We think about releasing through the arm, releasing the shoulders, the chest, the low back, letting everything feel nice and heavy here. And then only if it feels good for you, you can maybe take that left hand, rest it onto the low back. Or if flexibility allows, we can reach it on across, maybe take hold of the opposite thigh. We're here for 1 or 2 nice deep breaths. And then after your next exhale, we bring the left hand back onto the mat, plant it down. We're going to press in through the left hand, come all the way back up to our tabletop, and we're going to find a child's pose here. So toes are coming together, the knees are coming apart. We're going to set our bums back towards our heels, and then we're going to walk our arms out in front of us and release the forehead down. Just allowing everything to begin to calm down a little bit now. Slowing down the heart rate slightly. Let's take one more big breath here in your child's pose. And then after your exhale, we're once again going to come back up and into our tabletop, but we're not going to be here for very long. We are going to be coming up and into a downward facing dog, just to really stretch out the entire back of the body, maybe even stretching out the arms and the thighs a little bit here. So we're going to spread the fingertips nice and wide. We're going to tuck the toes underneath behind us, start to send your hips back, and then press nice and strong through the hands, lift the hips up, send them behind, and we're going to keep the knees bent for this one. So we're going to keep a nice deep bend in the knees. We're going to stay nice and strong in the arms and really press your sternum towards the mat here. So it's almost like we were trying to send that chest down towards the floor. We're going to feel a big stretch in the back of the shoulders. Imagine like you were trying to place your belly on top of your thighs. If we need to come out of this at any point, we just bring the knees back down onto the mat. But you decide whether you want to stay here for a few breaths, or maybe if this is feeling pretty good, you might start to play around with straightening one leg at a time. So you can bend and straighten each knee at a time, just nice and slowly pedaling it out here, bringing that stretch into the backs of the legs, the backs of the hamstrings. And then coming into your variation of your downward dog, knees can be straight or they can be bent. But wherever you are, no tension in your neck, your head is hanging nice and heavy here. Let's take 2 deep breaths, full inhale and full exhale. One more time, full breath in, full breath out. And then can we bring a nice deep bend in through the knees, send your gaze in towards the center of your mat, and you're going to step your feet up towards the center of the mat. Take them as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. And we're in this variation of a forward fold. Your knees can be bent, they can be straight, but we're just dangling everything down here over the legs. Everything from your hips up, completely relaxed. And we're just breathing. Relax your lower back. Relax your shoulders. Let your arms hang heavy here. And maybe if it feels good, you can take hold of opposite elbow with your hand. And just feel the weight of the arms almost pulling the rest of the body forward. Just letting gravity do all of the work here. If it feels good, maybe we find a little rock from side to side. And then let's bring it back to center. We can release the hands if we're holding on to the elbows. We can bring the hands back to the floor, take a nice deep bend through the knees, and then just sit yourself all the way back and onto your mat. Let's bring ourselves a little bit of thanks here, a little bit of gratitude. Let's take a nice deep breath in, reach our hands up towards the sky, palms come together, and exhale your hands to your heart center. You can close your eyes here. Just notice how your body's feeling. If it feels a little bit better than it did before you stepped onto your mat, send yourself some thanks just for showing up today for yourself, for your well-being. If you wish to take a Shavasana, you can take it now. Or if you wish to get on with the rest of your day, you can open back up through the eyes. And namaste, everybody. Thank you all so much for practicing with me. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe. And whatever you are doing for the rest of your day, I hope you have a good one. Bye bye.